even back when I didn't know anything, I went to Hawaii back in '92. I befriended Hawaiians, and they said, "Bra, you're local. Like, you've got a heart like a local. You're not like a haole. You're not like, you're sincere. You're genuine." So that's it. It's like, if you can be with someone, and it doesn't matter where they're from. And for me, I can be with anyone. I don't care where you're from. I'll break bread with you. I'll be with you. I can be at home in any situation. I can feel comfortable anywhere. I'm a local wherever I'm at. So that's what I mean by that.
Oh, I love that part. Oh, I want to slow down on that. That's amazing. I'm totally stealing that. I'm a local wherever I'm at. Most of us never learned how to train our brains, which is why most of us needlessly settle, struggle, and worse, suffer. My name is Chris Doris, and I want to make brain training mainstream. This is my series, Tough Talks, Conversations on Mental Toughness. I'm interviewing badasses from all walks of life on what mental toughness means to them and their unique approaches to strengthening their minds. Hey everyone, welcome back to Tough Talks, Conversations on Mental Toughness. I am your host, Chris Doris, and our guest today is named Gary Mahler. Gary is a Vancouver-based life coach. He is a friend of mine for 3 years. We both coached with Steve Chandler, and that's actually where we met, in one of Steve Chandler's coaching schools. And I've became great friends with him straight away. Just loved his vibe. And I really love what he's up to these days. And I love his vibe even more now, and you'll see why. You're going to experience a man here who's he's a perfect example of what it's like what you feel like when you're in the presence of someone who is doing deep spiritual work, right? Deep personal development, personal transformational work, like deep, big time. He and I have shared. He is currently working with a coach I formerly coached with, whose name is Steve Hardison. I am infinitely certain that name is going to come up at least a couple times in the conversation. And this is one of the examples. This is an example of a guest who I have basically done zero preparation for this interview, because not zero, but way less than normal, because of the nature of Gary, that the present moment is going to govern the content that's useful for us to share, to cover today. The moment. So I'm really excited for this. I'm excited about this for you. And not that that's ever not true about Tough Talks, but this is my enthusiasm is unique today with Gary because it's such a calming. He is such a calming presence. I got to meet his family recently at a dinner in Tempe, Arizona, nearby, and man, they are just full of love. I'll tell you, when I sat there, I'm not even kidding. It was just a few weeks ago. We sat. He has 2 children, his wife, and his 2 parents, and I love all of them. And of course Gary, so there's 7 of us, and I feel like that table was just radiating love and joy and celebration. Man, you're gonna love this dude. All right, so let's not keep him waiting. Oh, and we're actually he's coming here, right? He's here. He is here, and we're going to change angles here. We have a film crew here in the captain's quarters, so we get to experience him live, which is pretty awesome. It's only one of 2 times that's occurred here to date in Tough Talk. So, no further ado, let's go find Mr. Mahler. Well, here he is. Welcome to my most sacred space on the planet, Mr. Gary Mahler, Transformational Coach. I love that you have made time for us today, so thank you for being here, brother.
Well, thank you for making this opportunity
to
come to your home, which is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Your office, which is sacred.
It is very sacred.
I can feel it.
Can you feel it?
As soon as I walked in.
No kidding.
Serious.
Can you talk a little bit about that? I didn't expect that to come up.
Well, all I know from you being the captain and your admiral and everything going on, coming from that beautiful thing we were talking about that you created, to everything nautical in here, everything that matters to you is in here. Anything that you feel is in here. And it's got your essence all over it.
Wow.
It's just got power. You just feel it. It's like my wife talks about power spots. She wants to go to Sedona.
Oh, you guys haven't? Oh, Mike. Well,
And
then, of
she's
course
like-
you have to take
she's
her
like,
to Sedona. We're talking about.
we have to go to Sedona. It's a power spot. And then we're about to go to Hardison's office. And then
That
I
is
said,
definitely
baby,
a power spot.
we're
Hardison,
going-
by the way, for those of you who haven't heard that name, that is Steve Hardison, a former coach of mine and a current coach of Gary's, and who he just actually referred to. My nickname for that man is the Admiral, and he calls me Boatness, and this is Boatness.
So thank you. It's just sitting in here, it feels energetically, vibrationally power-filled.
Well, that is music to my ears, brother. Because that's why I say this. There has been so much beautiful magic created in here that that's why it is my sacred space. So I love that you're here.
Thank you.
So can you give us a brief history of Gary Mahler? Let people know who you are and what you've been up to in life, and we'll take it from there.
I'll tell you who I am.
Okay.
This is the most dear to me. This is I am
Bring it.
infinite stillness. I am born of ease and flow. So I mean,
Born of ease and flow.
born of ease and flow. So there's been times in my life that I've been, Japanese call it guja guja, and like unsure and all these things. But if I go back to my source, it's been ease and flow. And I come back to that ease and flow.
I love that.
So I am ease and flow. I am goodness.
Yeah.
I am goodness. I come from the infinite and I am one with God. I live a life without confines. There's no confinement in my life. I am free because I'm free. I'm fearless, bold, and courageous. I take empowered action. Fear? So what? I just do what I gotta do.
Mm-hmm.
And if I falter, and life moves me and shakes me, I just come back and I am at liberty to be infinite, patience, and I'm love, and coming from love, I'm forgiveness and understanding. So if I put those all together and I can mix that up any which way, that's who I am. And for years I didn't know it, but I know it, and I'm at home, so that's who I am. That's beginning to now to end. I live it daily.
I know you do. What you just said, the last one, I am at home. Can you say more on that? I am at home. You're saying that in my home.
Yeah, I'm at home.
Please elaborate.
All my life, I never felt at home. When I was young, I remember my parents were quite social. They would invite people over, and I'd just get so annoyed. They'd be in my space, and I just want to go to my room because I wasn't at home with people. I was shy. I was not feeling comfortable, and now I'm forever at home. And all I do is I meet people, and I bring them home, make them feel at home as if for the very first time. So that's what I do. So who I am is infinite stillness, born of flow, and what I do is I'm forever back home, and I just bring people back home to themselves as if for the very first time.
That's profound. So you're one of the most powerful coaches I've ever met, and of all the ways that you could be using your life, why this? First of all, what do you refer to yourself as? If someone says, these days, if someone says, hi, nice to meet you, Gary, was your name Gary? Yeah. What do you do?
Yeah, I'm a coach.
That's it, you leave it at that?
I'm a coach.
Okay. So
I say it every 2 weeks when I go through customs. What do you do? Where are you going? I say, I go to see my coach.
So what if the person with the stamp or the immigration person is like a sports coach?
Oh, like what? So I go down to see my coach, and they go, where are you going? I say, I go to see my coach. What kind of coach? Acting coach. And I said, my life coach. What do you do? And I say, I'm a coach. And what do you coach? I said, I coach life, business, relationships, leadership, those 4 things. And it's just based on my history. I've studied all of those things, and that's what I coach. So that's what I do.
Why?
It's what I was meant to be. It's why I was put on this planet. So all of the years, can I say bad words on this thing or not?
You are free.
Okay. I always say your shit's your gold.
Your shits are gold.
Your shit is your gold.
Your shit is your gold.
So the first 40 years of my life was filled with a lot of shit, with some really nice parts, but really shitty parts. That shit became my gold at about 40. And then since 40, and I'm 53 now, I'll be 54 in September.
Okay.
All of that led to me starting to understand myself and life and start getting home to myself. So like why I do and what I do, that's why I do what I do.
You know, you keep referring to it. It really is very. I like the sound of it. Getting home, like coming home, right? Coming home. You're probably going to say that several more times in our conversation because you've been saying it. It's something that I'm noticing you repeating, and I like it. What do you mean by it? Coming home.
My favorite spot in the world is Hawaii, and the best thing a Hawaiian can say to you is, "Man, brah, you're like a local. You're local." So I'm haole, I'm white as can be. And even back when I didn't know anything, I went to Hawaii back in '92. I befriended Hawaiians and they said, "Brah, you're local. Like you've got a heart like a local. You're not like a haole. You're not like you're sincere. You're genuine." So that's it. It's like if you can be with someone, and it doesn't matter where they're from, and for me, I can be with anyone. I don't care where you're from. I'll break bread with you, I'll be with you. I can be at home in any situation. I can feel comfortable anywhere. I'm a local wherever I'm at. So that's what I mean by that.
Oh, I love that part. Oh, I want to slow down on that. That's amazing. I'm totally stealing that. I'm a local wherever I'm at. Yeah. I'm sure that we talked a little bit, and I don't want to go down this road too far right now, but the experience that I had in Greece, in the Greek islands last year, right? And I felt because of the vibe that I brought,
Yeah.
right? I talk a lot about that. I'm talking a lot more about that these days, a lot more about the vibe or the tribe vibe, which is the we are one vibe, the feeling that we are connected and that we are not separated at all, right? And the magic that occurs when that is the place where we exist is in sameness and connectedness.
Yep.
I am at home wherever I'm at.
Yeah.
That's amazing. You know, in your welcome on your website, which is really badass, in the welcome video, you mention what sounded to me towards the end of the video, it's like a whatever, just under 3 minute video. It sounded like a paradox. Okay, and it was something like, you can continue struggling to power through, right? I presume it like a dissatisfactory life. Power through, or you can get content with where you're at, and from that place build a better life. So I want you to talk about that for a minute because the word content can, I think, be very misconstrued, and that's why it sounds like it could be an apparent paradox right here. So, well, if I'm content with it, then why would I change it? I was like, if I'm getting content, and maybe the misinterpretation would be complacent. So could you elaborate on that?
When I did that video, I was at the beginning of my coaching career. I just got certified in a modality of coaching. I was about to do a 1-year leadership training program. I had 5 clients. I was maybe making $1,000 a month on the 5 clients. It was not much.
Oh, how interesting.
And I had a choice. I had a choice of going to meetups, networking, doing stuff in my town of Vancouver.
Yeah.
Or I talked to my wife and I said, I'd rather just go to Hawaii for 3 months and try and create what our life's going to be like. And she was like, let's do it. So part of that, I hired my friend who's a videographer and paid him some dough, and we traveled around Maui, and I had to write different scenarios, and this was one, and it's just there, and I've got other ones, and that just came, and it's called satisfaction, and I find a lot of people aren't satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
So then in what I said, people aren't satisfied. I had it all, and I wasn't satisfied.
When did you have it all?
Oh man, I had a beautiful 3-level townhome in Vancouver by the waterfront.
This is prior to becoming a coach.
Yep.
You're a business owner.
Yep. I had a business. I had a beautiful wife at the time. I had everything, but I was not content with anything. I was never satisfied with anything. So I think that word content comes from just being satisfied. So a precursor to anything is just being satisfied with what you have, being grateful for what you have. Mm-hmm. So powering through like I did, man, I would power through everything. I had everything planned out. I knew how much sales I was going to make, and if it wasn't what I wanted, I went out on sales calls, got that. I was involved in every part of the production, working with our teams, working with everything. And the money didn't mean a lot, but just being powerful meant everything. So I powered through. And when things were great, I was super nice. And if not, I was a total asshole. I was a dick. So then what I'm talking about, I was never content with any of it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with being content. And I think you're right, the distinction content versus complacence is everything. I mean, we talked about this the other night. The divine in the mundane. Man, you know what matters most to me is like the stuff that you don't even think about.
Let's slow down and go ahead and go there.
You know what's the best is when my son says, Dad, please lie in bed with me. What do you want to talk about? I don't want to talk. I just want to, what's stronger, the hammerhead shark or the T-Rex? And I'm like, well, the T-Rex doesn't live at this, no. And I'm like, well, obviously the T-Rex. He goes, no. The hammerhead shark's gonna hide and bite the T-Rex. And
this is so good.
I mean, just make it up. And he goes, Dad, I'm just messing with you. Of course the T-Rex stronger, but he doesn't exist. But to just sit there with him, that mundane is everything. The other day, I said to my son, he's graduating kindergarten, I said, that's really great. Next year you'll be grade 1, so you can look after, you can take care of the younger people and watch out for them. So he didn't say much about that, but that night I was out and my wife was talking to my son, and my son shared 2 stories. She shared that there's a boy who, what did he do? He was bullying my son. Then there's another part, and I don't forget what the details are, but in any case, there was a boy who lives in our building who's grade 2 or something, and he goes to the boy, hey, Lucas, you live in my building, that's so cool. And the boy goes, you smell like a fart, get out of here.
Oh my God, wow.
And he told my wife, oh my God, like my wife said, how did it feel? He said, it hurt, and it still hurts. So next morning, instead of going to the gym, I sat in my chair where I coach clients and I waited for him. Then he just came and he lies on me, and I had time. The mundane is, wow, did what I said about taking care of the younger kids, did that do something that reminded you of this stuff? And he said it did. And then I was just with my son for half an hour, mundane. So I'm so content to sit in that chair. And the moment that he comes, the laptop gets put away, and then I just sit with him. I love being content. I'm always content. Man, it's like a cat that's just purring, content. What's wrong with content? It's great.
Yeah.
And then if it wants something, it knows what to do. So anyways, that's how that all came about. Complacent is a whole different thing. When you're complacent, you're never at home.
When you're complacent, you're never at home. Please elaborate.
Man, if you're complacent, you're always trying to get out of something, get into something, move things, do things. You're never at home. You're just like, I'm complacent. Like that, you don't even know what's in front of you. So it's like, man, this office, I need something better. You're always going after something,
Okay.
But you're complacent. Like you're dead. You're numb. That's what I was, dead and numb.
How did that transform for you? What happened that you changed that?
In year 2000, I went on a business trip to Japan. Then my ex-wife, who's Japanese Canadian, had the plan to go to this place called Nara, and it had a Buddha inside, and it was the biggest, largest wooden structure in the world. And it was a humid day, I remember, and we walk in, and I just felt this cool breeze, and then I see this Buddha, and I'm not into Buddhas, but man, he was just like serene, and I was like, I want that. That started everything.
I want that.
I want that.
Huh.
I want that. I'm tired of being complacent, discontent, in dis-ease, asshole, unhappy. What am I doing this for? Making all this money, not happy in my life.
So that was actually a very distinct moment.
It was.
Transformational moment.
Completely.
Okay, because then you said that's when everything started.
Yeah.
Like what? Because this is important, I think, for people that are watching or listening, right? It's like, what did you do?
Nothing.
Well, okay, we're going to need to say more on that.
I had an idea that if I want peace, there's different modalities that I could follow. Try meditation, try this, all the stuff that people try. And I got some books, and it didn't really help. Trying counting to 10, counting backwards, just like not doing it. The one thing that came to me was, and I don't know where it came to me, maybe I read it in some of the books, was quit trying to be something you're not. So quit saying you want to be peaceful and you just do the opposite of being peaceful. So I just decided to become peaceful. So something would happen. So instead of getting angry, I would just be like, take a breath. That came from some of the books. And then I would just, I must have done some
what books?
I think Thich Nhat Hanh was one of them.
So hold on a second, because that's some heavy reading.
Oh man, okay? It was heavy.
That's not like,
oh dude, I'm reading this stuff not understanding anything, but something hit. And what hit
please,
was I didn't need to know a lot. I didn't need to read more. If I just read that and I could just follow my breath, that told me something. I could just stay in that moment, be present in that moment. And in that moment, I saw that I had a choice. So, I mean, you talk about that with your clients. So I knew this at a toddler level, but I started using it. And in using it, I just found other avenues that helped me on my journey. So I just stopped doing what I was doing, which wasn't helpful, and started doing some of the small things that I learned. And then from that, just some decisions became apparent, and it was like baby steps, man, baby steps. Mm-hmm. And from there, like, I got out of a marriage that I shouldn't have been in. I took time for myself. I remember reading John Kabat-Zinn, a book called Wherever You Go, There You Are. Just so simple, like very simple things about mindful living and meditation that are just so simple. And I just followed that. I just followed my breath, just followed what it's like in my body, followed not being judgmental. So I didn't do a lot.
Well, maybe. Maybe not. I guess it depends on how you look at it. But I'm hearing that you did, maybe it wasn't a lot of, like a long list of things, like a lot of things, but in the few things that you were doing, it sounded like there was a lot happening, right? And it started with a decision that you had in front of this Buddha, which is a very interesting thing. It's just like a combination of, the perfect storm of variables that who knows what they were. It could have been the cool breeze on the humid day. It could have been the Buddha. It could have been 15 other things in combination with that. But something changed in you in the moment, and you took that, and you said, you used the word decision.
Yes.
That's a big deal. That's a big word in my world.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
I chose something.
Mm-hmm.
I chose something over something else. And the thing was, I didn't even know very much. All I knew was to do what was in front of me.
Okay, what do you mean?
The books that I was reading, so somehow...
you sound like a monk right now, like a Zen monk.
I'm really...
And that is purely complimentary.
Thank you. And
all I'm saying...
I've
known you for a few years.
Yeah.
You are so obviously more peaceful now. Not that you were a dick when I met you, weren't, right? But you were this peaceful. Yeah. And I'm not saying that you were, dick isn't the right word, but you weren't like agitated by any means. I loved you from the moment I met you. We had that great hangout in San Antonio. We clicked. It was cool. But I have a different vibe from you right now. And that wasn't that long ago. What's different?
Well, I made a decision that I wanted to hire Steve Hardison. So in that, again, so whether it was at the beginning of this journey or when I'm working with Steve Chandler, the godfather of coaching, all of this stuff doesn't mean anything to me. Like, he's the best there is, and he's coaching with the best there is. So I want to be the best that I can be. So it's like, that's where I go because my heart tells me that's what I want.
Yes. Now, I looked at Steve Hardison's website today out of curiosity because I hadn't been there in a long time, and I wanted to see what was new. And there's some new stuff, at least since I last visited, which I don't even know when the last time I saw his website was. But his fees range from $200,000 to $1 million for 100 hours of coaching in about a year, and then he's got some other smaller programs, but they aren't less expensive. There's just less money for the same, like, whatever. So you made a decision that you're going to work with one of the most expensive coaches on the planet Earth. You made a decision, and it took you how long to fulfill that decision?
2 years.
2 years. I'm so glad that it took you 2 years. I'm really happy about that, okay? So at the time when you made the decision, right, you didn't have the means.
I had the means. I didn't have the money.
Oh, that's good on you, Holmes. I love that. Okay, I love being corrected that way. So you had, what do you mean? You didn't have the money. That's so great.
Yeah.
You didn't have the money, and that's what I meant. But I love what you're saying way better than what I said. So you had the means, but you didn't have the money.
I knew what I wanted, and I did what I wanted. I wanted to hire Chandler because I thought if I hire Chandler, he'll help me to create the money, create a business, create myself to be ready for Steve Hardison. Did all those things, and it was just apparent. So the thing is whether it was back in 2000 or then, I didn't stop to think about what my heart was telling me. I just knew, I want this.
Yes.
It makes sense to me. And then I just made choices, little ones. It's how I met my wife. 10 things that I said no to in the year before, 10 things I said yes to, smallest things, led me to meeting her. Man, that's life. That's life. It's like I made the choice. I want that. Then I did what it is, and if it costs money, so what? I'll make more. And I just enjoyed. I worked with Chandler for 3 years. I was in 3 ACSs. So get this, I'm working with him to earn $150,000 for Hardison.
Yes.
And then I get this email from Steve, and he goes, "Hey, Gare, I've got this new program. It's called the M6, the Magnificent Six. You're invited. It's $50,000. And I'm like, that's convenient. I just have 50. I need to earn 100 more. What's going on? Steve Chandler spent an hour and a half with me on the phone, and he goes, "I know you're going to hire me again, so you're going to get some of that money is going away, this and that. You join this with me, and you be with some of the top coaches in the world. You're going to be so much more prepared that when you start with Hardison, he's not going to know what hit him." And Chandler was right. And Hardison told me, "You are one of the most prepared, if not the most prepared people to do work with me." That came. So I had 50. I gave that away. Then I was starting from zero, and I had to make another 150. I did it.
Yes. And you did it because you decided.
I decided.
So, yeah, right. So, the distinction, I want you to use your words, so please, clarify.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing, the distinction is a goal versus a decision. That's my language.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love it.
And I say all the time that a goal is a decision awaiting its upgrade.
Yeah.
right? And the difference is that a goal leaves the door open for the possibility of failure, whereas a decision does not. And that's what the all-in stuff is.
That's so
right? Is being
powerful.
all in. So a skeptic, or maybe not even, actually maybe not a skeptic, like just maybe most people, because of the conditioning, the element of just human conditioning of our past, where we're taught our limitations, well educated about our limitations, would hear you say, you must have just been pretty wealthy, or you must have had some good setup. Like, you can't just decide you're going to go make 150, then go spend and then just decide that you're going to go create another 150 to pay some dude to coach you up.
My background is we were poor. I remember my dad, he didn't even need a calculator. We would go shopping, and then my mom would put stuff in there and say, no, we're at $50, we have to put something back. We drank skim milk, we did this stuff. We started a business. He had a business in Montreal. I would go and work when I was 7 with him, and I remember saying, don't tell your mother, I think we might go bankrupt. So I mean, I know all that stuff.
Okay.
But I guess somewhere I just knew, and I didn't worry about the money. So that might just be me, but remember when we were kids, my parents had like nothing. We lived in Montreal. We went on this trip to Wildwood, New Jersey. It was beautiful. It was 72. It was.
Did we talk about this?
No.
That's great.
Man, all I know is they bought this trailer so we could save money. A trailer that was in the back. It was a camper trailer that was in the back. I think 3 days in, it broke. We had to bring it to the welding shop, and they couldn't fix it. And we were staying in hotels. They ran out of money.
Oh, wow.
So did I learn that? I guess I did. But to me...
We did talk about this. I don't know if it was you and me or
maybe my parents.
Dad.
Maybe my dad talked to you.
I love your parents. I love your family.
Great. That is helpful. I'll say, man, I'm very blessed that I had them. And what I will say is, even though I had the best parents in the world, I got pretty messed up, and it was me that did it, not them.
Oh.
So if I could have every advantage and be poor, and then we made money and we lost money and we did all this stuff, but even with that, I messed a lot of stuff up. So it doesn't matter.
After you made the decision, do you remember where you were in the world the moment you made the decision? Because the decisions happened in a moment.
Yeah.
When you decided to hire Steve Hardison to coach you.
I was at a Rich Litvin event.
Oh, where?
In Santa Monica.
Okay.
So I have this card that says, because I said I would, and I'm talking to my business partner in LA. We do a leadership retreat that involves surfing. It's called Into the Fire
Yeah,
Leadership.
we need to get to that, okay?
Yeah.
So note that. I really want you to talk about that.
Beautiful.
Okay.
And I'm telling her, I'm like, Karen, I don't know how to fill this out. It's like homework. I can't fill this out. I don't know what I'm going to do. But I'm thinking I want to, I want to do something with my coaching. I want to do something. And then she goes, I know what it is. I said, what? And she goes, you want to hire Steve Hardison? And I started crying.
She told you that?
She told me. Well, because I had told her a year or two earlier. And I hadn't even seen him. I haven't met him. I was afraid to reach out. It was crazy. And then from writing that, within a month, I was in Steve Hardison's office. I paid $5,000 to spend some time with him. And then from there, I just knew we'll be working together. So that's where the decision came.
Okay, great. So it happened. That started in. Were you in Hawaii when that happened?
Well, that was in Santa Monica.
That was you said
Santa
that.
Monica,
You said okay.
Yeah.
So then you went to see him. You did
in a month.
Yeah, in a month.
Yeah.
All right. And now after that, after you visited with him, was that like 2 hours?
It was 2 hours.
Then you knew, okay, this is a lock, right? And then it took you 2 years to actually get back to him.
Yeah.
With him, right? To start.
And I didn't talk to him. In those 2 years,
you never spoke to him?
Hardly messaged, really nothing. He called me at one point and he goes, I got an opening. And I said, yeah, I just gave $50,000 to Steve Chandler, but he told me he goes, yeah, I remember now. Yeah. And it's like.
And Steve Chandler, by the way, for listeners or viewers, also he's signed like a life contract.
Yes.
Delete the word like. I would put the word like in there. He has signed a life contract.
Yeah.
With Steve Hardison, so he will coach. So these are, this really could sound like a commercial for these coaches, and you know what? Good. because it's not. So it's about. Like it is important to acknowledge them for how amazing they are, and I appreciate because I've worked with both of them, and I brag about that.
Yeah.
I brag about it in two ways. One, because they're so amazing, but the other way is that I created that opportunity for myself.
You
right?
thought you were worthy to do it. I think so many people don't think they're worthy.
Well, you know what? Why it took me 6 years to hire Hardison? No. You know what my story was?
What?
For 6 years?
No.
Maybe more than that. It might have been more than that. Can't afford it. I remember exactly where I was, the corner of 2nd Street and Central in Phoenix one day. I don't even know what the hell I was doing down there. I never go down there. I was there for some reason. And I stopped at a red light. And now Hardison had sent me a handwritten note. Just a short one. Just some beautiful thing that he does, you know. Just I love the way you show up in the world. You know, loving you, be blessed. SFH. Steve Forbes Hardison. So, and that was it. And I had it there, and I stopped at a red light, and I looked at it, and I'm like, man, I love that dude, because I had a 2-hour session with him years ago, and I had not made the decision. It was a goal. It was a wish. It was a weak little wish. Yeah. Oh, it would be so great to work with him. That would be great if I could do that. And I've always hated this. Actually, I don't hate it now. I did hate it. The phrase. We can't afford that, because that was similar situation growing up. You know, scarcity with money. We can't afford it. No frills, everything. You know, and that phrase was uttered so frequently that it was like gross to me, because it's like we can't. What it translated into for me is, no, we can't have what we want. That life doesn't support that. That's just not the way it goes. Like, we can't have that. So we'll just suffer through. And I promised myself I wouldn't say it, but I was saying it. And I heard myself say it at that red light. I can't wait to work. I'd love to work with him, but I can't afford it. And that is when I shifted from goal, from desire, from weak little wish to fuck that.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
But the question still remained for me, which was, how are you going to do it?
Yeah. One of my clients, what did he say? He said the how is, I don't know if he called it a killer of dreams, but it's like a passion
I love that,
killer,
though.
right? The how is a killer of dreams. It's a passion killer. Like the how we get, there's nothing wrong with using your mind to put something together. I ran a manufacturing company. You have to use your mind all the time. How this goes, how that goes, how you can, I had like 100,000 things in my mind. So I used my mind all the time. But the how, when it comes to the stuff of the heart or your dreams, the how isn't that important. There's a place for it, but not where we put it. We put it at the first and foremost, and then I want this, and then we're going to plan, we're going to do this. But then life has so many other ideas that we're trying to manipulate.
One of the very first things that Hardison did for me when we worked together was to give me a challenge. I want to be really mindful right now of how much I share of it, because I know that I made some commitments on what of this story is legit to say. I think it's all, but I'm not positive, so I may interrupt myself. But I was sitting right out here on my porch one night on a phone call with my girlfriend at the time, who lives in Manhattan. Have I told you this story before? So, and we both have really great reception. I have perfect reception all over my home, which is great. And she had perfect reception in Manhattan where she lived. So we never had a call drop, but this is a Wednesday night, like 9 p.m. I'm sitting out there, a glass of wine, and the call drops. And I thought, well, now that's odd, right? Because that never happens. I have all full coverage, so I'm looking at all my bars, so I'm like, it's got to be her, so I'll just let her call back. And the phone rings, but it's not her. It's him. It's Steve, who I call the Admiral. And he's all amped up. So I answer, I'm like, Admiral, what's up? And this is just very unusual for him to call me at 9 p.m. on a Wednesday night. I mean, it's highly unusual. At least it was in my head, at least, right? And he said, Chris, Are you willing to participate in the creation of a miracle? I'm like, whoa, dude. You're up here, bro. I'm down here. I need you to just come on. I got like 3 glasses of wine deep. Can we mellow this out a skosh? But I love him and I love all that. So I'm like, yeah, hell yeah, dude. Because at the time, when he said miracle, I'm like, I love this shit. Because at the time I had a newsletter called Miraculous Life and all that bullshit. So I said, yeah, man. He goes, I love you. He goes, I want you to call this woman tomorrow morning because she was organizing the TBOLIT NFL talk and she wasn't able to pull it together. And he said, I want you to call her tomorrow morning. Do not tell her it's imperative that you do not tell her I told you to call her. And you act like it's your idea and you ask her, how can I help? And anything she says, you do. Whatever. If she asks you, and he's screaming, if she asks you for hit 15 Harley Davidsons, you figure it out and you say yes and you do it. And if you do this, I promise you, you will experience miracles in your life, both personally and professionally. Are you willing to do this, Chris? I'm like, Jesus. And I go, I thought, fuck yeah, but with him, I don't say that. I go, yeah. I said, hell yeah, I probably said. And he says, I love that about you. Pray to God she asks for something huge. Click. See ya. Pray to God she asks for something huge. And I'm like, I'm living in 2 worlds after that phone call ends. I am simultaneously scared shitless about what I just said yes to, because there is no saying no once you said yes, right? And energized AF, right? Just like this is living. And to get to the end of the story, so the next day I call her and she asks me to go to the event, which I didn't want to do, because I'd already seen it at the Fish House where we hang here in Tempe, right? So I was going to go to, why would I fly up to Salt Lake City on a football Sunday? I'd miss a game. I wouldn't want to go do that for. I don't want to miss an Eagles game. I already saw the talk. And but she said, will you please go? So I'm like, yes, man.
Yeah.
Right? I'm Jim Carrey and yes, man.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, totally. And she said, and can you pay for the venue? And at the time, I had just spent all of my money on Steve Hardison. I had no money. I had maybe rent, or not rent, but mortgage and some food. That's where I was. So I didn't have any money. And so she said, can you pay for the venue? And of course, everything, I'm saying, yes. And I'm just going, wow, this is getting crazy. And I was wondering if she was going to ask for freaking Harleys. And I had already visualized, I didn't know if he was suggesting something, if that was just some, off the cuff example. She did not ask for Harleys, and I do wish she did. Because I would have liked to have seen how I'd pull that off, actually. But she asked me to pay for the venue, and then she said, do you want to know how much it is? I said, sure. And it didn't matter. It didn't matter. Because I didn't have it.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. It was just like a phone number.
Yeah.
Right? And although I did gulp when she said it,
Yeah.
And then I gulped extra hard when she said, great, can you wire that to me tonight? I said, of course. And she goes, oh, thank you so much. God, this is so helpful. You're an angel. I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not. But I didn't say that. So anyway, we hang up, and I sat over there at the top of my stairwell for the next 45 minutes and just thought, like you said, I just thought. But the thinking came from a unique, right?
Yep.
Where'd the thinking come from?
Man, it came from some connection within yourself with something greater than yourself. And I don't want to get too airy-fairy, because all of this stuff I'm talking might sound airy-fairy, but man, I'm the most pragmatic, practical person.
I love that you're saying that.
Man, because all this stuff, and people say you know what, I'm just a normal human being, but I'm connected with this, and there's something greater. I don't need to know what it is, call it God, universe, this, that, doesn't matter.
Right.
But you get rid of judgment of yourself, of the situation, suddenly there is a space, and a clarity comes, and that's all that I did from everything that we're talking about, me and them. Sure, yes. That's all that you did.
In those 45 minutes, that's all I did was I came from a place of doubtlessness.
That's it.
Right?
That's it.
Because it had to be done.
It had to be. You had no choice.
It wasn't even a scary had to be done.
No.
It was, this has to be done. No, just like that.
Matter of fact.
That very as a matter of fact, and very clear.
That's it.
Right? This has to be done. So it's not like, okay, so let's just get it done. So then it's the how, but it's not like, oh shit. No, it's like, okay, so how?
Yeah, like what am I going to do
Like
next?
what am I going to do?
Yeah, it's kind of what I've got a distinction is like, so what? I had a dentist that I was working with, so what? He was crying, so what? Half an hour. And then I go, so what? He just wanted to punch me in the face. And I'm like, now what? So what? All of that stuff, yeah, great. Now what are we going to do with it?
Right.
To this day, he uses it all the time. It's like, so what? So what? So what?
Yeah.
Now what? Now what are we going to do? Man, that's where creativity, connection, being humble, humility, requests, asking. I'm sure all of these things came, it didn't come from you being by yourself worrying. It probably was you talking to people, engaging with people, getting related to people, building from relationships you've built over the years.
Yeah.
And then
That's
you
right.
just shared something, and I don't even know what you
Well,
did, but
I'll
I'm
tell you
just
what
assuming.
I did, and then here's this is the truth: is that I wish. So it only took me about 45 minutes to an hour to come up with a solution, and I came up with all the money that afternoon, and wired it to the woman that night. I wish, however, in retrospect, actually let's delete that because I don't like to live that way. If I'm going to redo this again, which I have, I'll think a little bit longer because I came up with a solution.
Yeah.
And I got to tell you, I was actually a little bit disappointed. My solution was I called a few corporate clients whose programs were coming to a close and said, if you want to re-up right now, I'll do like 2 or 3 extra team trainings for you if you can pay though today because I'm up to this amazing thing that I'd be happy to tell you about later. And they're like, yes, that sounds, of course, why not? And it was like easy. It was easy, and I got to tell you, I was a little disappointed that it was that easy, which is why I say, I kind of wish she asked for Harley Davidsons because the story would be a little better. Maybe. It's the same story that like when we get all in, or we get connected, or when it's a decision, and that's all coming back to you saying that you decided. And I want to get into the fire, and also what are you deciding now? Like what do we have to look forward to? What's Gary Mahler's next decisions that we haven't talked about yet? Because I really want to hear about that. If I had sat a little bit longer, I might have come up with an even better solution. Because what I did was I spent my money, right? Which I was happy to do, because my life has changed for them. The result of that whole experience is I can't say the sentence, I can't afford that, and mean it. It can no longer occur because I know it's not true.
Yeah.
Which goes back to what you said. I didn't have the money, but I had the means.
That's it.
And I love that. I'm so happy you clarified that because it's huge, right? We have the means. Do you believe we all have the means? Do you believe we all have the means to create what we want?
Yes.
Let me ask you this, and maybe this is a theoretical question, but I don't care. It's a good one. Then why do so many people not know that?
Because they choose to believe something else, or they've been taught something else, and they just like it.
They what?
They like it.
Like what?
They like what they're
Settling?
believing. If they didn't like it, they wouldn't be doing it. And some people say, well, you can't choose this, you can't choose that. It's easy for you to say, man, I don't fault anyone for anything that they're believing. They're entitled to believe whatever they want. Mm-hmm. So, man, there's really very little absolute truth in the world. And I think even if you say EMC squared now with all the quantum, I don't even know what's right or wrong. Mm-hmm. I just choose, for me, helpful or not helpful thinking. Helpful thinking, yes. Not helpful, then I jettison it. And to me, there was one time when I talked to Hardison, I remember he told me, I got a spot. I'm like, I don't got the dough yet. Can I ask you a question? It was like when you guys were having your election before you elected your current president. Uh-huh. And it was, I thought then crazy politically charged, and it's gotten even more so. And I just would remember on Facebook all this stuff going on, and I said, Steve, do you like everybody?
What did you say?
Do you like everybody?
And do you like everybody?
And he goes, man, to me it doesn't even register. I love everybody, and it doesn't care if I like them. So something happened within me, and I had the idea, when I'm judgmental of myself and people, I shut down. I'm not at home. I'm not a local. I shut people out. If all I work on is being less judgmental, dismissing dismissive thoughts of people. You're this, you're that, so I don't need that. And I just have less dismissive thoughts of me. All I can do is become unconditional love with me, with my wife, with my kids, everyone I meet. And sometimes I'm not, so then who am I? Well, I'm at liberty to be infinite patience. Okay, I'm a slow learner, so what? Now what? I'm love, coming from love. I'm forgiveness and understanding with myself. To me, all it is I come back home all the time, then it becomes apparent, like in your 45 minutes of what to do next.
Yeah.
I'm at home.
Becomes apparent.
It becomes apparent. Becomes apparent.
Yeah. So that's the how. Right.
Yeah.
The how becomes apparent.
It just shows
When you
itself.
decide on the what.
Yeah. Year 2000, I decided something. I want that.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm sitting in your office, and pretty much I have it. Because that's all that I wanted. So I gave up being right. I gave up my ego. I gave up stuff. Unless I forget, then I come back and I just, what do I want? I want peace. I want to be a loving husband. I want to be, I want to be the best man, husband, father, and coach. I want to be the best.
Yeah.
So then I hired the best.
Yeah.
Because to me that made sense.
Yes.
And I didn't really worry about the dough. And the best thing is my wife doesn't worry about the dough either. She's like, yeah, you'll create more. You'll just create.
Yeah, that's so great. It reminds me of this fun story about like a Zen master who they're finished with their, students are all here, and they're finished with their teaching for the day, and then they just kind of hang and talking about they've got this project where they're going to build a new like meditation building or something, or a new learning place. And one of the students, it's all this like grand idea, right? So it's going to be expensive. It's going to be cool. And one of the students raises his hand, but Master, where is the money going to come from? And the master says, wherever it is at the time.
Yeah, it'll come from there. And
if it's over there, we'll go get it. Right? And that transcends what we've all learned about affordability. Like there's so many weird lessons about money, but a lot of it comes back to money. Living in this culture, money's the thing we need if we're going to live here.
Yeah.
Right? And we got a lot of weird scarcity-based learnings, right, about money. But you're not buying them. See what I did there? Buying, get it?
Yeah, I'm not buying them.
I'm not buying.
No.
I'm not buying scarcity ways about money. Why would I pay for that?
No.
I've already paid for that.
Yeah, all that shit, I paid for it. Now
Yeah.
my goal is all of that, and I get to live this life.
Yeah. Can we talk about Into the Fire?
Yeah.
What is it?
Into the Fire is, it was a leadership project back in 2012. We were given 6 weeks to create a transformational experience as part of our thing. So there was 24 of us. We had to find a partner and we had to find something. So when everyone was doing stuff in little, I guess, strip malls or little offices of inviting people, I was like, I'd spent 3 months in Hawaii and I got this idea that I was going to create something called the Become Alive sessions, where I would take a dick like me in 1997, spend a week with him in Hawaii and coach him for a year. And that made sense. I can make money. The way that they taught us to make money is you charge $300 a month and you meet twice a month. I said, that's ridiculous. You'll never make money at that. Mm-hmm. So I had this idea. Then my partner, Karen Perry, out of all the people there, like I told people, I've got this dream. I want to do the surf retreat or surfing. Yeah. She's like, I want that guy. And me, I was like, I'll choose anybody. I'll work with anyone. She said, no, I choose you. And she chose me. And then we had 24 people come to a transformational beach party that we set up within.
Okay, that sounds amazing, right? Transformational beach party. Yeah. Okay, that's my kind of gig.
We had 24 people. The focus wasn't to make money.
Where was it?
It was in Malibu, California, Zuma Beach.
Yeah.
We had 24. Why
is it called Into the Fire?
Because we believe that jumping into the fires of our life, like whatever our desire is, that's fire. Jumping into the things that are difficult, stepping into things that we've desired but have put aside because of practicality. So we've had people move to Hong Kong, we've had people get married, we've had people get divorced, we've had people become actresses who's an actress that is now like an extra or filming in Hawaii from LA. So like we've had people leave what they were doing, that's why. So like I've had this dream, but I can't do it. And then we question that. We spend 5 days with people. So that was then. So I think the first one, like it cost like about $5,000 and we made half of that. So Karen had to pay $1,000, $1,200, I paid. And then we just did 8 of them. And the odd thing, the very fun thing is that technically there was one in November. It's a men's retreat. All these men have said, oh, we want to have one. And it was technically going to be the last one. And then a bunch of guys were like, yeah, can we think about it, this and that? And I said, fuck this shit. I'm canceling. I'm not doing this. I don't want to do a last one. You're not going to be doing this, and you asked for it. We're here and we're waiting. Hey, Karen, I'm not doing it. This is our last one. What are we going to do? I don't know. I don't want it. But we've already had an idea that this Into the Fire is a leadership development business in the waiting.
Oh, so there's a resurrection about to occur.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's a perfect segue, into the next and possible last question. Possibly. Okay, so let's talk about what's on Gary Mahler's horizon. What are some things you've decided to create and bring into the world for people that we all get to look forward to?
The Mahler International Coaching Studio.
The Mahler International Coaching Studio.
And they're plural. There's more than one.
Studios.
Yeah. It's a dream that I had back when I was broken up with my current wife. We were doing long distance. She's from Japan and we're broken up. And I just remember being heartbroken, doing a ton of internal work. And I had a dream. It was like a night, like it was raining out. It was humid. It's never humid in Vancouver. It was hot. I was sweating. I couldn't sleep. And I just like, please God, like I don't know which God I'm talking to, but I'm tired of the pain. I'm tired of the suffering. And when I was younger, we were into Christianity. I can't promise you I'll be the best Christian I can be, but I promise you I'll be the best Gary that I can be. And I wake up the next morning at 10. I never wake up at 10, the lights shining through the shutters. And I had a dream that I woke up to, and it was this beautiful place that looks a lot like the Scottsdale Andaz where I stay all the time. It's just like postmodern, beautiful, like mid-century modern. On one side was my wife's area, and she was studying aroma massage therapy at the time. In the middle was like a healthy food place, and then the other place was my place, and I didn't know what my place was, but it was going to be where I did my work. And I just got this idea that the Mahler International Coaching Studio is going to be in Hawaii. And it's going to be a place where when my kids are older, I can raise them. They can go to international school. My wife can do her business. And this is where I'm going to kick off all of my Become Alive sessions. Clients, a year of working with me, they fly in. We're going to spend a week together.
Yeah, you said it'll be in Hawaii.
I really believe that it will. I believe it's going to be in Kauai. I believe it'll be around Poipu. So we canceled Into the Fire, and I said, I don't want to go to Waikiki. I'm tired of that nonsense. So I booked a place, and I'm going to be in Poipu, and I'm going to be spending 8 days body surfing. I'm going to be spending...
Oh, you're just going to
I'm just
get
going.
the vibe, to feel, to see,
I'm
to
just
start
gonna
creating.
Go. Yeah.
Have you been to Poipu Bay?
Oh, many.
Okay. So
we did a women's surf retreat. Into the Fire was there last year, and then it was actually Karen who said, I really think the Mahler International Coaching Studio is here. And I said, I think
Oh,
right.
that was her. She's very insightful.
She
knows you pretty well. Huh?
She knows. She knows.
Yeah, so you said the Become Alive
Sessions.
You want to say a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's the program that I created in Hawaii back in 2012. It's working with Gary Mahler of 1997, the guy before us seeing the Buddha. Guys who are not content, they're complacent, they're dicks, they think they're nice, they have everything but don't realize it. It's a year-long program working with me. That's everything, and I've been prototyping that for the past 5 years, and That's my work with Hardison. So what's going to happen is Become Alive sessions are coming into fruition this year. Mahler International Coaching Studios coming into fruition. Chapter 1 is going to be in Vancouver. I don't want to say more about that, but it'll be in Vancouver. That stems from my wife's desire for creating the foundation in Vancouver in our community. My son goes to the best school ever that I don't know how it happened. It was just built, but it's beautiful. Best kindergarten teacher ever. We've got a community center that's 2 blocks from our house where he's learning karate, where they're learning ballet. We have everything right there, and my wife wants that, and I'm like seeding what I want to that. So the first one is going to be that, and then in the years coming, Hawaii is coming, Japan is coming, and really what I could see is these places is where thought leaders are going to come and have conversations like this around a table. Into the Fire will be held there, and it's going to be a place, they're going to be in places where I just love to be. I love my city. I love where I am. I say I don't really love my city. I love the corner I live on, Homer and Davie Street. I don't want to live anywhere else except a block down where my wife has a client, or had a client, who was a Hong Kongese actress that had the sub-penthouse. I want that because my wife wants it, and it's magnificent. So like, and I just talk about it as if it's there. That's it. So that's what's coming up.
You talk about it as if it's there.
Yeah. That's what's coming. So I mean,
is that a fact?
It's a fact. The place that I'm living in. I'm separated way back, just a little bit after I met the Buddha. So I guess part of that was getting separated and my life getting blown apart. I'm renting this apartment in the same building that I'm in, and I'm having the time of my life. It's like crazy. It's like bachelor pad central. Like nobody's, like, I'm just living this life. And I remember saying, I want to have a place in this building. So then I'm disassembling my life, separation agreements, like there's a lot of stuff that we've got to separate. When the current place that we had on paper was about to sell, I had this idea of this place that strangely looks like mine. Within 4 months, the current place that I'm living in was mine. I just had an idea, this open space, and what it was, like I just knew, like I want my own place, and it ended up being in the building that I said I wanted to live in, and as far as I'm concerned, it's the best unit in the place. I've got a deck that's almost the size of your office, which is unheard of. And I have it.
Yeah, is there any surprise in that? Are you the least bit surprised?
No, and it, like, I just spent time with Hardison, and it was who I was being. And I mean, how I got that place, you want to know a quick story?
Yeah.
You know, on Craigslist, you buy and sell stuff and people are flaky. I was selling some chairs, and this guy named David Wong, hiya Dave, if you ever see this, I don't think you will, but this dude was like, yeah, I want the chairs, can I come look at them? And Dave never came to look at them.
Okay.
Old Gary would be like, fuck you, David Wong, I'm never gonna sell these chairs because you're yanking my chain. At the time, like, I was like, no, that's good. And then one day he comes over to the place I'm renting, not that one that I was in another place, and goes, I love the chairs, I'll take them. That was it. And then for an hour and a half, I'm talking to David Wong. He became my best friend for the summer. He's a realtor. He owned a place in the building that I said I wanted, and he's like,
Did you know that?
No, not at that time.
Okay.
I think
That's
that evening, he invites me to his place, and I go, oh, this is the building. And he's in a townhouse, and we've just become friends, and he's like, Gary, the market's gonna go crazy. You gotta get back in as soon as you can. So he took me all over the place, and then one day he's like, oh my God, my client is selling this. He would have owners that would rent. He's like a management guy, a real estate guy. It's for sale, you gotta have this. It's the only one in our building, one of 7 that has a patio. It's beautiful. I just went in and I decided, I was like, yeah, I'm taking it. Within a week, I bought it. He gave me all of his people. I took everything out, created it from scratch, redesigned it. So the one thing that I can say, and I talk to people, and you make it sound easy, and I say, well, I don't make it sound easy, I just don't make it complicated. The one thing about me is I'll simplify everything. I like simple. I don't need complications. I like simple. So anyways, that's how that happened. That's how these things will happen. That's how this happened. That's how this happened. You're like, Gary, can you come on here? I said, dude, I'm down every 2 weeks. Yeah. I'll do it in your house. And here we are sitting, and we've got these wonderful gentlemen filming us. Like, this is amazing. But we just said it off the cuff. My dad goes, oh, Gary, there's this guy. He's amazing. And I go, who is it? He goes, oh, it's Chris Doris. And I said, oh, he's not that amazing. He's my friend. And I said, just kidding. He's the bomb. You know him? How do you know Chris Doris? And I said, he's my homie. Do you want to meet him? I text you, and you're there. And then what did we do? February. Yeah. We're in the fish house with my mom and dad. They love you.
Beautiful. I love them.
That's it. So this is... Man, there's no hesitation. It's like, yeah, I know. Do you want to meet him? Yes, I do. Well, I'll see how we can do it. That's what I learned from my parents. That's what I teach.
And I love that so much because you operate from the assumption that, of course, I would have what I want. Like, why would I not have why would I not have what I want?
And remember, you asked me the question about being content.
Yes.
I've always been content with what I've had, not complacent.
Right.
When I moved to Tokyo, so I told you I was not with my girlfriend, and then somehow we knew we couldn't do long distance, and I had a dream of living in Tokyo. So I said, I'm moving there, and she goes, great, I'm renting a place. It's 22 meters squared. I lived with her for 2 years in that place. I had just designed this beautiful bachelor pad. It's gorgeous, 1,150 square feet, and I lived in 22 meters, the size of this office. I was totally content with it. It was the best time of my life. I learned so much there. I ran my business remotely, did some consulting work. That decision to go there created everything. It created, I got to know my wife, live with her before we lived. There's nothing, in 22 meters squared, there's no secrets. Man, everything just came. So I was really content with everything. And the other thing is I didn't put up with stuff. Like, I learned even then how to do business. Like, English teachers, they're not treated very good. So, but what I did, I just put my profile on a website, mysensei.com, myteacher.com, when everyone's being all like, scholarly. I'm just like, me and my Mexican buddy were like this. Guess what? The people that contacted me, unbelievable. And from there, then I met Vice President Banana Republic. I met people. So even within that was the seed of a dream that I didn't even know. So I didn't know any of this stuff, but what I did in Tokyo, like, I didn't want to be an English teacher, so I called myself an English coordinator. What do you want to do with English? I'll help you make those dreams come true. That's coaching. My best friend goes, you're a life coach. I said, please, no, I'm not a life coach. No. And he goes, well, let's just put it this way. Teaching English is incidental. And that was the truth.
Right. Right.
It's what I'm telling, whether you believe it or not, or think I'm la-la, like, I just very clear what works for me and what doesn't, and I choose what does. I choose to love my wife, to fall in love with my wife. Am I the best husband? I say I am. All I know is from the time I uttered I am the best man, husband, father, and coach, I'm hella better than I used to be. My wife loves it. My wife talked to Hardison 2 weeks ago, and she said, thank you so much for the work. Steve told me, your wife gave me the best compliment. Thank you so much for the work that you do with my husband. I told my wife, I said, you're not going to have a conventional life. It's not going to happen. We're going to have a life that, I don't know how it'll work, but I promise you, I will love you. I will choose to love you. And man, I was like, I'm going to be 54, and I got a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. It's ridiculous. but it's the best thing. But you know what she said to me? She said, I knew you would be a great dad. I saw that in you. That's my wife. And she's right. The best thing that's ever happened to me. And I never wanted kids because I thought I had nothing to give because I was never at home. Well, guess what? I'm always at home.
No, that's beautiful.
I'm with them. I love them. I sometimes lose my patience. Yeah, guess what? I'm at liberty to be infinite patience and come back from love and then sit with my son and say, and my son goes, yeah, Dad, I love you even though you get angry at me sometimes. And I said, yeah, I love you even though you don't listen sometimes. But I don't love Kona. I said, yeah, sometimes that Kona, sometimes she's annoying. And then she loves you, dude. The pictures of you holding her.
We'll cherish those pictures. We met. We had dinner a couple of weeks ago. I mean, I got to meet your entire family. I met your parents before, but I hadn't met your wife.
For my daughter, I gotta just tell you.
I want to make sure I pronounce your wife's name correctly because I don't think I got it.
Kanako.
Kanako. And Koan.
Koan
is your 3-year-old girl.
And I gotta say, she doesn't like to be that forward. To be that's coming from presence. It's not that she doesn't. She's becoming less shy than she used to be, but for her to feel that close and just go in your arms and hug you, she did it with Hardison. She did it with you. She does it with people that she knows, she's safe with.
Beautiful.
So I just wanted to acknowledge you for that.
You just made my day, brother, as if my day wasn't already perfect. Thank you, brother, for being at home in my home.
Thank you
for
sharing,
your story and really, I can't wait to hear people's reactions to this. I want to hear what stood out for them. So please share those. And one, I think perhaps more than anything. Oh no, that's not true. There's probably 4 or 5 things, but it's like I love that you expect to have what you want.
You know why? Because I already do.
Okay, so go ahead and elaborate on that a little bit. Because I'm not going to end on that.
I again, like when I say that, you had said you don't have to be complacent.
Yes.
I appreciate everything I have. I appreciate the hardships as well as the highs, the lows. John Kabat-Zinn references Zorba the Greek, and Zorba, not the creep, but the Greek, and he might be a creep. The full catastrophe of life. To be in love with every part of life, even the hard parts, not many people do that. Love, life, death, it's all a part of life. If I can teach my kids to be at home with all of life,
so, I love that. That's another one.
That's what I'm living. So
reminding me, you could probably tell me who said this. When you love what is what you want.
I tell you, I'm here. I get to go on a plane. I like flying here. I do main cabin extra. It doesn't matter. When I came, it wasn't available. I sat behind. So what? I fly business class back. It's a bit more. I like it. If I wouldn't have the dough, I would be okay being in the last thing, in the last row. I'm content with what I have. I'm grateful for what I have.
But you also expect to create what you want.
Completely. And sometimes... Well, I'm at liberty to be infinite patience. So if I don't have it now, I'm not burning down the house worried that I don't have it now. I'm pretty happy with what I have. And it doesn't impede my creation.
And it doesn't impede your creation, right? And I'm still perfectly capable of deciding that I will go create. Well, I can't wait to see the Mahler International
Coaching
Studios.
Yeah.
I can't wait to experience that place.
Man.
Where can people connect with you most effectively? Where do you want them to go to?
The best way is
follow you
Gary L. Mahler on Facebook.
Gary L. Mahler on Facebook.
Yeah. So
I'll put these in the show notes.
Yeah, and it's not like I'm on there a lot, or Gary M505 on Instagram. It's the worst.
Gary M505.
Yeah.
505.
Yeah.
Whatever.
People message me, oddly enough, on those two platforms all the time.
I don't know. It's not very odd.
And
kind of popular.
Well, mine are horrible. Like, all it is pictures of my kids, and I don't write profoundly, and I don't write a lot of stuff. Like, there's no creative output that I'm thinking about. If I think something,
Yeah, but if somebody who's listening to this or watching this, it's like, where if they want to connect with you, that's like the most effective way for them to do that would be one of those two ways, Instagram
or my website,
Facebook.
GaryMahler.com.
Yeah, and which is spelled, by the way, GaryMahler, so GaryMahler.com.
And then email is restart@GaryMahler.com.
Restart@GaryMahler.com. Brother, I love you, man.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here and for sharing you.
Thanks for spending time with me and just listening to what occurs to me. And it's not true or false, it's just how it occurs to me.
Perfect. Right on, brother.
Thanks, man. You're the best. Better than infinity.
Yeah. Oh, bad baby.
It's my son. That's what he tells me every time.
I love that.
Before I was leaving, I tell you, like, I'm leaving at 6 a.m. He gets up early. Dad, can I press the button? Can I press G? I love you, Daddy. You're better than infinity.
How perfect is that?
It's the best.
Amen. Thanks, brother.
I always love spending time with people who have so obviously invested deeply in their own personal development. It's like a warm blanket next to a fire on a cold winter night. It's just soothing. You know, it's comforting. Really, is what it is. It's a better word. Yeah, it's comforting. It's being around a dude like Gary, who obviously has and continues to do some really high level work on himself. It makes it effortless for me to feel great, and to be inspired. He is inspirational. He has it be easy for me to be in alignment with my spirit. I love how calm he is. I love how I meant it when I said to him, like, dude, you're different when I met you. And it's not like you're good now and you suck then. He was amazing then. Obviously, I would not have become his friend, but he is measurably different. And he's so serene. It's really spectacular. And, so this was, the whole thing kind of turned out to be a commercial for the ultimate coach, Steve Hardison, which I'm perfectly cool with because he deserves that. That wasn't the plan, but it makes sense in retrospect, looking back to the conversation. I mean, Gary and I have both worked with him. And, he's a profound human being and he's changed many lives, mine included. When I asked Gary the very first question, which was, tell us a little bit, give us a little history on Gary Mahler, and he went straight into his IMs. And I love that he did that. That was not premeditated. I never discussed the specifics of what we're going to discuss with our guests to keep it really organic. And I was, as soon as he started going IM, I thought, yes, dude, that's so perfect. I didn't even premeditate that. And for those of you that are only listening to this on a podcast right now, I'm holding up for the camera, right? For the video version, the video blog version of this. A laminated copy of my IMs, which has actually been expanded dramatically since the initial creation of this almost a decade ago. But that's a great tool, the IMs. And what Gary was saying, if I had phrased the question, "Who are you?" then he would have known. Okay, here we go. I am, and like mine are: I am divine grace. I am that this is perfect. I am integrity. I am service. I am boldness. I am creativity. I am, so. And I've also recorded those into my voice notes on my phone, and I encourage you all to do that. So, because this is one of the most profound exercises I've ever done as a coaching client, is to define who I am, right? Who I want to be, who and how I want to be, specifically, in as powerful way imaginable. And then start speaking your way into it and stop waiting. That's another thing that I love from this conversation is Gary's willingness to say that I just decide, right? The whole thing about like money, affordability, whatever. You know, if I want this, I decide that it will be so. If it requires money, then I will go get that. How? I don't know yet. Well, who knows? By virtue of me deciding, though, then it will be so. And if you follow my work at all, you know there's a few things that I love more than that, is deciding that without knowing how. That's all in, baby. And I think that's badass living. So I love that experience, that conversation here at the captain's quarters with Gary. And I look forward to seeing what else he creates. And I know that, you know, what he said there at the end about I should have written it down, the Mahler Coaching International Institute, or I forget what he called it, but you remember. And yeah, that's going to be amazing. There's zero doubt in my mind that he will be, that it will be so. So I hope I love that, and thanks for joining. And until next time, create miracles.